going to talk a little bit about the covenant, the coven that I started with the help of some others in New Orleans. And I guess I can start with the coven and why it even happened. The coven came at there is no end, there is no beginning. I was going to say the tail end of a lot of my deep dive into religious texts, quantum physics, spiritual teachings, a lot of self-practice, a lot of silence. But basically, I hit a point in my journey where I had been sharing what I was doing and people were interested, and I personally wanted to practice more, and I wanted to practice with others, and I wanted to share what I learned. And so the coven that was formed, just an incredible, fascinating group of women. And about half of the women I met in public, and you could say eye contact alone, they were in the coven. So a lot of, like, half the women I didn't know them, I'd never met them, and we looked at each other, and I basically asked them, "Are you a witch?" And here, which, is a very loaded term, especially New Orleans, it has such a beautiful, rich history of voodoo culture, and a lot of people here do magic, craft work. But I think here, coven was the appropriate term. I don't mind saying cult, because what I was suggesting was a complete shift in a value system, the way that you were taught from birth, basically stripping yourself of any accumulated identity. And that is asking a lot, unless someone is ready. And so obviously everyone who was in the coven was ready to explore that. And the women who entered the coven, they were already doing it for years. And I think there was this feeling that they'd been doing it alone, and maybe there weren't other women out there doing this. And I say women because that is how I identify in my avatar. And when I say avatar, I mean this physical form that I inhabit on Earth in the physical realm. But a few men have received the covenant. I've sent it to them just because they were exploring some of these ideas. But the coven is central to the Bible of New Orleans. Bible of New Orleans, the book would not exist without these 2 years of introspection, reading, and experimentation. And so I'll go through the covenant little by little, because there is so much to unpack, even though it seems pretty small. But the first one is to activate the God and Creator within. So the coven belief system is that everyone is God. Everyone is your reflection. God is shared, eternal, divine consciousness. Everyone has the ability to create in a godlike way. Miracles are the norm. And there is no separation between us other than what we believe to be a physical form. Yet we'll unpack all of that and look around you right now. What is that? What is air? What's in the space that's air? Most of the world doesn't appear within the visible spectrum of light. So what is around you, and how do you play with the electromagnetic fields of the physical earth? And when you think that way, what is the magnitude of your potential? And when you're able to step out of the brain and the body, or at least